Okay, we're going to cover briefly drugs, and this is your corresponding module for Chapter 3. You can think of it as the second part of Chapter 3, or Consciousness in the Two-Track Mind. And just to review the goals, at the end of the module, you should know the effect of each drug category that we cover, examples of the drugs, and the research presented on each type of drug. Okay, as an overview, we're going to cover psychoactive drugs, and by definition, these are ones that alter your mood or your thinking or the way that you see the world or your behavior. We're going to cover stimulants first, and as a second category, we'll cover depressants, and these encompass alcohol, tranquilizers, and opiates. And last, we'll cover psychedelics or hallucinogens. So to cover stimulants, these include things like cocaine, nicotine, and caffeine. And so we realize we have very different strengths mixed in there, but even caffeine that you get in energy drinks or nicotine, which is present in cigarettes, are considered stimulants. One of the problems with the stimulants is they speed up your central nervous system, but they're not actually magically increasing your energy reserves. And so if you drink energy drinks, for instance, during a finals week or when you're really tired at work, it makes you feel more alert, but it's not changing your metabolism in some way that helps compensate for that. In other words, what you'll do is you'll feel really alert, you'll probably do more, but when you come off the stimulant or the energy drink runs out, you'll feel really, really tired. The effect depends on the amount ingested. Usually if somebody's tired, a little bit of caffeine may help, but past a point when you're overstimulated, even with a mild drug like caffeine, it can impair your performance. So again, it makes you feel energetic, but it's not magically increasing your reserves in any way. As you recover from the use of stimulants, if you've stayed up too long or if you just kind of overtaxed your body, of course, many times you feel tired and cranky when you're trying to recover from that. Just a word on nicotine. Nicotine is extremely important because cigarettes, of course, cause many diseases and deaths ranging from esophageal cancer to 10,000 deaths from related cancers daily. Half of all people who smoked in the past have quit, so that's the good news. And for help, there's a link that's just Guide to Quitting Smoking that you can put in any browser, and it will take you to helpful information on quitting. The American Cancer Society also has helpful information on getting off cigarettes if you're interested. Depressants include alcohol, which is the most widely abused depressant in the United States. There is a hereditary component in alcoholism, and we know that based on some work by a famous researcher called Begleiter. And what you want to do is, rather than clicking on the link, you want to paste the link below into YouTube. And the link reads The Mind, Part 29, Alcohol Addiction, Hereditary Factors. So if you type that into YouTube, it'll take you to Begleiter's work. And Begleiter did find that there was a hereditary component to alcoholism, and that individuals who are children of alcoholics are more likely to have what's called a P3 wave deficiency. This P3 wave is a wave that we see in the brain when something unexpected happens, like an unexpected noise. Now, the absence of this P3 wave is not noticeable in any way except in a lab. That's the only way we catch it. And so, in terms of this discussion, this absence of the P3 wave in the children of alcoholics may serve as a marker of predisposition to the hereditary form of alcoholism. And so again, alcoholics have a P3 brainwave deficiency. These waves occur when you have a sudden shift in attention. And the children of alcoholics may have these same wave deficits. So it's a genetic marker for a predisposition to alcoholism. The other research that is available on alcoholism, and there's quite a bit, some of it shows that alcoholics may over-respond to stimuli. And the reason that happens is neural processing actually changes, especially in long-term alcoholics, and there's less self-awareness and less behavioral control in alcoholics. Alcohol also tends to inhibit memory, partially because we think it disrupts REM sleep and also disrupts normal neural functioning. Just to continue on depressants, tranquilizers or barbiturates also fall within this category. And they have similar effects as alcohol, which is why they're in the same category as alcohol, in this depressant category. Nembutal, Seconal are both considered tranquilizers or barbiturates and are, again, depressants. They should never be combined with alcohol because they can interact and, of course, have stronger effects than you would predict from the effects of either drug alone. The total depressive effect can be lethal, and so it's very important that if you think someone has mixed the two, that you get them medical help. Opiates, of course, unfortunately, are epidemic now. These include heroin and morphine and other derivatives of opium. Typically, they cause euphoria, and euphoria is a very exaggerated sense of well-being. Now, opiates are extremely helpful in medicine. Many of the morphine derivatives that we have are some of the best pain blockers for people who suffer from chronic pain. Unfortunately, they tend to be quite addictive. So remember now from our earlier discussion in the class that you have endogenous opiates that are produced within your body, these endorphins. And what that means is that you have receptor sites that are ready for these chemically similar fake endogenous opiates, heroin and morphine. Use of these opiates interferes with your body's normal pain relief system of endorphins. Just as an example of how addictive these are, and they are powerfully addictive, you can search on the title Heroin Addicts Speak on YouTube. Very powerful demonstration of opiate addiction among young people. Psychedelics or hallucinogens include LSD and mescaline, and psychedelics or hallucinogens actually produce hallucinations or false sensory experiences. So they may cause sensory distortions or flashbacks. Synesthesia is a word that means sensory crossover. Sensory crossover happens when people use strong hallucinogens like LSD or mescaline, and you can even, I know this sounds odd, but you can think that you're hearing colors or seeing music. So it's a very odd experience. Marijuana is sometimes classified as a mild psychedelic. It doesn't fit neatly into any category, but probably comes closer to psychedelics. Moderate doses of marijuana does seem to interfere with transfer of information to long-term memory. It also influences reaction time and concentration, so of course you would never want to drive if you smoke marijuana because it will impair your judgment while driving. THC is the active ingredient of marijuana, and it lingers in the body for a week or more. In fact, it can be detected in hair samples for much longer than a week. Okay, just to recap our learning goals from this module, as a result of reading it and listening to the information, you should be able to give examples of the 3 classes of drugs that we covered, describe the effects of each class of drugs, and be able to discuss research such as Begleiter's on the drugs, including effects of heredity on alcoholism.